Hi there, and welcome to this week's edition of the Gersnet Weekly Podcast. Hello there, and welcome to this week's edition of the Gersnet Weekly Podcast. We're back from a week off. It was international break, all that football that we really cannot be bothered with, Scotland and England and all that nonsense. I don't know about you guys, but this one seemed to go on for quite a while for me. It just seemed to be never ending. But back to the proper stuff this weekend. Good result today at Hamilton, disappointing performance. So we'll have a wee look at that. We'll have a wee preview of the big game on Thursday night against Spartak Moscow. A wee peek at the semi-final against Aberdeen on Sunday, and we'll have a wee catch-up, obviously, because we've been off for a couple of weeks. We'll have a wee catch-up about some of the things that were happening while we were away. Obviously, there was a Paul Gascoigne thing with the Hall of Fame. Aberdeen have proved themselves to be a proper diddy club with the ticket fiasco. And BBC Scotland have been up to their usual tricks as well. So we'll have a wee look at some of those things. Joining me tonight, we've got the two Davids and two of the guys that were here right at the very beginning when we started the podcast. It's David Tomlinson, or as he's known amongst us, Gersnetters. Pete, how you doing, Pete?
Yeah, doing fine, thanks.
Good. How's it over in Germany?
Yeah, it's still there.
Obviously, I didn't think it had disappeared, Pete.
Unfortunately, the football this afternoon sort of put my mood a wee bit down, but
the result was okay, but the performance was 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back, really, wasn't it? You know, it was pretty in that respect. Yeah. The result, I suppose, is the main thing. We got there in the end. Also joining us tonight is, as I said, fellow David, is David Fraser, and a big thanks to David because he stepped in at the last minute to bail us out. How you doing, David?
Not too bad, Colin. Good result today. Pretty poor performance, or average performance. But I no problem for stepping in, so looking forward to tonight and catching up.
Yeah, I think it's a minor miracle that this podcast is happening with the issues that we've faced tonight. And I had an issue myself. I had a strange incident with my printer, so I've not got my usual prints because my printer's knackered. I had issues with it last week. My sister-in-law, she's kind of looking for a new job now, so she was up and I was helping her with her CV. I tried to print a few copies off and it never printed them off. I thought, right, fine, I'll fix that next week. Came up this week to print off all the stuff for the pod, and it prints off all the stuff for last week. It printed off our CV, about 20 copies of it, but didn't print off the pod stuff that I wanted. So it's just been an absolute disaster all day today. So we've done well to get the pod up and running. Disasters out the way, we'll look at the Hamilton game. Obviously, Rangers won 4-1 today. A really, really poor performance, and I think even Steven Gerrard admitted that after the game. It was not the sort of performance he was looking for. But, you know, given that Celtic had won yesterday, Hearts had won, you know, Livingston, Kamara, you know, we're in that pack there. We needed the 3 points today, and we got that in the end with the 4-1 win. David, I'll come to you first on this one. I think you've maybe already answered it, but what did you make of the overall performance today?
I thought it was average, Colin. Like most people, they weren't too impressed with it. It wasn't the greatest of watches, but obviously the 3 points is the most important thing. But I think, to be fair to the players, I just think that they seem to have a mental block about playing in plastic. I don't know what it is. I think, you know, what we spoke about off air, that you've got a point about, you know, a professional player should be able to handle the plastic, but there's just something about that body language. The only player that I thought really looked quite comfortable in it, despite him slipping about on the surface, was Alfredo Morelos. And I think that's maybe something to do with the fact that he's probably a wee bit more used to playing in plastic, given that there's some plastic surfaces in the Finnish league. So, I think it's just a case of getting out of Dodge with 3 points intact today, Colin, and we managed to do that. So, you know, credit where credit's due, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. I feared we were on the same road. It felt like the Livingston game today. I thought, you know, for long periods it felt like that similar sort of mood to it. The tempo was way off, not what was needed at all. I think obviously Hamilton, because they got a bit of a pumping last week off Hibs, I think they were always going to sit deep, and that's how it happened. But how Rangers went about trying to get behind them was pretty poor. Again, I'm going to slightly disagree with you. I mean, I know I've had the debate about the pitches before, but I think these players should be able to handle it. You know, I know it's not ideal. I know the bounce is different, but to me, within 10, 15 minutes of playing on that surface, you should be able to, you know, you should have adapted to your surroundings. And I don't know if I'm overly keen to accept that as a reason for the performances. And they played really well at Kilmarnock. You know, they gave them a right going over that day. It could have been more than the 3-1 it was, and obviously they play on an artificial surface. So I don't know. I think the surroundings might have had something to do with it today. The atmosphere was a bit flat. I don't know, but it's certainly becoming a bit of a thing the away form, and I think it's something we need to pick up on. Pete, coming to you, we look at the starting 11 today. Obviously, Andy Halliday came in at left back. Barisic is still injured, and apparently, funnily enough, talking about the plastic pitches, Flanagan is not overly keen to play in these pitches. And Jordan Rossiter started his first game since, I think it was a Hibs game, the last game of last season. Overall, do you think you got the team selection right today, Stevie G?
Well, I'm not sure the likes of Jack. I take it they're still injured. Rossiter was a surprise. I take it he's wanting to get Rossiter into game time. Maybe a wee bit strange that it was in a plastic pitch that he brought him in when he's so injury prone. Maybe I expected Ross McCrory in there instead of him. But no, I don't know. Don't really see much what he could have done. The only thing he might have went and tried putting out Morelos for the game and bringing in a striker that would have been tested for next week. But I think the way Morelos played, he was the only player that was sort of good today. That was proven a good decision. And really, this Rangers team couldn't even think of dropping Morelos at this point in time, to be honest, because he is he was involved in everything today. He scored the assist for Kent and the penalty decision. So no, it's I don't think he could have done much other. I think that was a sort of not tried and tested team, but the team that sort of jumped out without Jack being in there.
Yeah, I mean, I was a wee bit surprised to see Halliday in there at left back, but you know, you were sort of given the explanation as to why, in terms of Barisic is injured and Flanagan is not keen to play on these surfaces. I've also heard that about Katic, and Katic had, I thought, his worst game for Rangers today. He looked all over the shop. I've heard a rumour that he suffers from stiffness in the back after he plays on these surfaces. So I don't know if maybe that is having an impact. But I think you've maybe got a point about McCrory. I thought McCrory would have been maybe a better option today than Rossiter. And I think he looked dead in his feet. You know, when he put the challenge in, I wouldn't even call it a challenge, for Hamilton's equaliser, it was really poor, a really poor challenge. So, yeah, we got there though. That's the main thing. I suppose we got the result, but I just wonder if injuries are starting to impact on us a wee bit now, because, you know, the starting 11 I thought looked a wee bit dented today. David, coming back to you, I think we can all agree that the result flattered Rangers today. You know, 4-1. You know, with 5 minutes to go, you just could never have predicted that would have been the result. You know, that's a few games away from home. Obviously, the Livingston game, they're really, really flat. Played well at Pittodrie. Really unlucky not to get the result that day. Obviously, the last minute goal at Motherwell as well. Celtic Park was a poor performance. Is this now something that we should be worrying about? I know we got the points today, but I feel if we were playing a stronger team than Hamilton, we might have come undone today. Is this something we now need to start worrying about? You know, is it becoming, in inverted commas, a thing?
I think it's a genuine and legitimate concern, Colin. It's got to be. You mentioned there right at the top of the show that it was almost like a rerun of the Livingston game today. And I think that harking back to the points I made on the pod that analysed the Livingston game, I said that Rangers struggle to break down packed defences. And I think that the possible exception of Ryan Kent today, there was no one that really looked as if they could unlock the door. You know, Hamilton, obviously, they came off the back of a thrashing at Easter Road in their last league game. Obviously wanted to sit in, put 10 men behind the ball. and keep it tight for as long as they could in the game. And there's a lack of creativity, genuine ability to unlock packed defences. When you mentioned there, when we're going to have to go to Easter Road and Tynecastle, and these other teams, they could possibly play into Rangers' hands, and they're going to be less likely to sit in and try and just basically stifle Rangers. Some of these teams are going to come out and try and put Rangers under pressure going forward. So, but having said that, there's going to be teams, in the bottom half of the table that Rangers are going to be expected to beat away from home, and it could well develop into something unless the next away game, which is at Greenhill Road against St Mirren, if Rangers put on a performance that day and start building up some momentum and some confidence away from home, then I think it'd be too early to maybe jump to the conclusion that it's going to be an inverted commas problem for the team. But that there's always that lingering doubt in your mind as to whether the team can unlock a packed defence. And I think that until they take a team apart by maybe sticking 4 or 5. I know they scored 4 today, and you said it was was flat on Rangers, and they definitely did. But until they take a team apart with good flowing attacking football and cutting teams open, it's always going to be lingering doubt in people's minds.
But David, can I come in there? You can't break down teams when you're playing walking football, and that's what it was today. It was just walking football. Look at the possession. Hamilton had 41% of the possession, and I've got written down Goldson had 39% of the possession, and the rest of the Rangers team had 20%. I mean, it was just pass back to Goldson, get the ball, get it up to the last third, and then turn round again and go back to Goldson again. You're not going to break down teams like that.
I agree. I totally agree with you, Pete. I think that the tempo is definitely an issue. You seen that the other day, and Stevie Gerrard obviously said in his post-match comments that the tempo was too slow. But I don't know whether it's difficult to put your finger on it. If Ryan Kent gets nullified, I think Daniel Candeias tends to struggle. And you seen the day that James Tavernier was, again, James is always expected to drive the team forward. And Ovie Ejaria didn't have the greatest of games. Lassana Coulibaly didn't have the greatest of games. Obviously, Jordan Ross, you guys have mentioned it, it's his first game back for a while. And I don't particularly think he's all that well suited to being the holding midfielder in a midfield three. I would prefer to, him to be the box-to-box guy. But out of the 3 midfielders on the pitch today, I think he was probably the best suited out of the 3 to play the holding midfielder. But I totally agree with you, Pete. You need to be faster, but the same token, you need somebody with a bit of ability about them, a bit of, just flair, skill, and the ability to take a man on. Ryan Kent's obviously got it. Daniel Candeias has got it up to a point, but he's pretty one-dimensional when it comes to beating a man. He just tries to outpace players and play 1-2s with typically Tavernier. But I think he's going to need to try and find something else to unlock defences going forward, I think.
But it puzzles me because at home, it's the total opposite. I think that's where the frustration, certainly from my sort of perspective, is. At home, we're blowing teams away. We're getting behind them, behind teams, no problem at Ibrox. And teams better than Livingston and Hamilton, with all due respect to those teams. I know Livingston are having a good season. So I think that's the problem. I can't put my finger on it, but certainly watching Rangers away from home this season, that all the issues that both of you have mentioned there, the tempo, the lack of pace, they have a lot of possession, but it just goes, it's all in front of the opposing teams and they don't work them hard enough. It just confuses me that we go from that to something else when we play at Ibrox, and whatever it is, whatever the issue is, I think Gerrard needs to get it fixed soon because, I think we've seen already that there's a tight pack of teams in there and we need to be in there, as he said today, up until Christmas, and see where we are in terms of the European run. If we're still in, then we need to still be in that pack whenever the European run comes to an end, so we can then make a proper go at it. But if it's going to become a thing, if teams know that we struggle away from home, then that's what they're going to do. They're just going to sit with as many men behind the ball as possible and make it difficult for us. Pete, the sort of main two talking points sort of later in the game with the penalties. Now I've seen some colourful stuff on social media from our separated brethren about, Rangers were struggling, hence 2 penalties. Look, 2 stonewallers to me. What did you make of them? Did the ref get them right?
Well, the first one, definitely stonewaller. The guy tried to say that it hit his chest. Well, if that ball hit his chest, then I've been fondling the wife in the wrong place for all these years. But no, he went down. His arm, he led with his arm down way, and the ball hit him roughly about the muscle in the arm. So it didn't go near his shoulder. It was midway down his arm, high to midway down his arm. So a definite penalty. I think for the second one, the first time I looked at it, I thought, that's never a penalty. But then you see he does click his heels, and Morelos' legs get mixed up with he kicks his own back thigh as well. But then the problem with me with that one was it intentional or was it not intentional? Because we were both running sort of at the same speed. And I would say that's the weaker of the two. That you could say, well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, maybe it was. But I don't think it was a stonewaller. But I think I would have been a bit disappointed if the referee gave it if it was a Rangers in the Rangers box. So that's the way I think about that one.
I thought they were both. I've got to say, I thought they were both pretty much stick on. I agree the second one didn't look it, but when you seen the replay, he definitely clips his heels. I think whether he means it or not is kind of irrelevant. If he's brought him down, he's brought him down. So no, I thought the ref got those 2 right, to be fair. David, obviously next week against Hearts, no Alfredo Morelos. He's suspended and Kyle Lafferty's cup tied. Morelos today involved in all 4 goals, set up Kent for the first, involved in both penalties, and obviously scored the 4th. How important a player is he becoming for Rangers?
He's vital, Colin. He's vital. His goals, he's vital. When he's on song, you seen today there, the criticism the constructive criticism I levelled against him after the Livingston game. You saw there today that he wasn't quite getting the chances, but he wasn't petulant. He did get involved with a wee altercation with Darian McKinnon, where I think Darian McKinnon was trying to get him to react, to possibly get him into trouble with the ref. But I thought his all-round performance today was really good. As Pete's mentioned, he played a lovely ball through to Ryan Kent for the opening goal, and his general play was pretty good. He tried, and his persistence was rewarded with his goal there at the end, which was a cracking finish. A finish of a player confident, top corner, effortless, left-footed shot. It was excellent. So I mean, he's vital. He's going to be a big miss for the Aberdeen League Cup semi. I just hope that he can do the business against Spartak on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think we'll miss him next week, and I think you've spoken there about the sort of criticism that he's received. I think he has deserved some of the criticism that's came his way, but when he's on the sort of form that he was on today, you can't deny that the guy's a great player for Rangers and an important player for Rangers, So yeah, and next week we'll talk about that later in the programme, but it'll be interesting to see where we go next week because we don't really have a recognised striker. Pete, having a wee look at the fixtures today, we've got one away game in November against St Mirren. However, December, we've got Tynecastle and Easter Road to visit. Surely, if we want to get points on the road against these teams, we need to improve the sort of level of performance we're currently showing away from home.
Well, I think the one thing we've got, when we're struggling, it's against teams that sit back, and I don't think Hibs and Hearts will, at home at Easter Road or at Tynecastle, will go and sit back. So I think we've got that in our favour. St Mirren, again, you would expect us to win at St Mirren, but it depends on the Rangers team that turns up that day, and it's the same against Celtic. I mean, I'll put money on us to beat Celtic, but not if we go and no turn up the way we did at Parkhead. That's it depends. Completely depends on the Rangers team that turns up. If we're wanting to win the league, we're going to have to beat these teams away from home and at home, obviously, of course. But there's when we go to Easter Road and we go to Tynecastle, there'll be no hiding place. These players have got to go up and got to stand up and fight every inch of the grass, and that's we've got to come away with points. I mean, we still get 5 points to catch up with Hearts, so that'll be 3 of them, hopefully.
Every inch of the grass. I love that, Pete. I love that. Right, moving on now, and we'll take a wee look at, it's a big week for Rangers this week. On Thursday night, we welcome Spartak Moscow to Ibrox, and then on Sunday, we're over to Hampden Park to meet Aberdeen in the semi-final of the League Cup. So another big week, and they've been coming thick and fast recently. You know, a real feeling that the club's moving forward. A lot of big games coming our way, which is a good feeling because, you know, it's a long time since we've felt like this. Really enjoyed the Rapid Vienna game. I must admit, I was there. The atmosphere that night was great. My boy's first European game, he was hyper. You know, I think it was a Sunday he came back down. Just so high about the whole night. So really looking forward to the Spartak game. Pete, I'll come to you first on this one. Again, another big European night. It's great to have them back. I think we can all agree about that. How do you fancy our chances against Spartak Moscow?
Again, I think we can beat everybody at Ibrox. Well, but we're not going into the Barcelonas and things like that. But in the league we're in, I think we can beat everyone there at Ibrox. Spartak, their away record this season, they've won 2 and drawn 3, and they've not lost any. So that may be a sort of a pointer to how they play. They're really hard to break down, which is obviously a problem what we've got in breaking down defences. But if we play anything like the way we played against Austria Vienna, then I can see us running them up with them. They lost 2-0 to Austria Vienna. So yeah, I know that doesn't say everything because obviously one result's not the same as the other result. But I think we've got a really good chance to beat them. And we've got to beat them. If we want to go around further, we've got to beat them because it's a big chance to do that.
Yeah, it is. It's a good opportunity, you know, and, you know, I think the Russian game, it's obviously got a bit of money in it these days, but no, I think Rangers, if, as you said there, if they replicate the performance against Rapid Vienna, then I don't think we'll be far away. David, I was having a wee look at, you know, doing a wee bit of research today. Spartak's away record in Europe is really pretty patchy. They've only had 1 win in their last 14 away games. Given where Rangers are coming from here, obviously coming off the back of a really good result in a Rapid game, unbeaten in 10 games now in Europe, I think, you know, surely it'll be a very, very sort of similar night to the Rapid Vienna game. You know, 2 close teams, but we should really fancy ourselves now.
I would hope so. I wouldn't get too carried away. I think we want to approach the game in a similar manner as to how we approached the Rapid game. Obviously, we came off the back of a poor result against Livingston, and the players, you know, had to put in a performance to make up for that, and they did that, thankfully. Just noticed today Spartak get beat at home by Arsenal 2. They beat 3-2. Which leaves them sitting 7th in the Russian Premier League. So they have not got their problems to seek just now. So, you know, the form book would suggest, especially in light of the record away from home in Europe, would suggest that Spartak are there for the taking. But they've got good players. Andy Konchelskis during the week came out and he predicts that it'll be a hard game for Rangers. Now, I don't know whether they've got a few Brazilian players, the Spartak side. So I just hope that Stevie gets the players fired up. The players themselves want to deliver a performance, and it's, as you rightly said, I mean, the carrot is there for them to collect another 3 points, keep themselves top of the group, and give ourselves a really excellent opportunity to progress out this group and secure European football after Christmas for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, I really would. It really is a big opportunity for Rangers on Thursday night, in my opinion. And I'm just, after because it's been so long since, you know, I've had a night like that, you know, the Rapid Vienna game. You know, there might have been a time when Rapid Vienna wouldn't have been as big a night as it was, you know, but given where we've been over the last few years, you know, I was looking forward to that game all week. You know, I mean, I couldn't get to Ibrox quick enough, and it lived up to it. You know, the atmosphere was superb, and if we get that again, if the crowd are up to it and they can lift the players, then I think we've got a really, really good chance of getting the 3 points. Pete, if we do get the 3 points, that'll, as David said there, we'll remain top of the group, and that'll be the halfway stage, and we'll go on 7 points. Surely 7 points. Surely one more win out of the last 3 games would be enough to even maybe secure second place. Surely you would be qualifying with 10 points.
Certainly be qualifying with 10 points. Obviously, things depend on how other results go. I don't see Spartak beating Villarreal in Spain. I believe they're playing. So I think if we beat Spartak, that's them out of the race. Then it depends what Rapid do against Villarreal. I think if Villarreal win and Rangers win, then we can only throw it away. Put it that way. We can't throw it. We can only throw it away ourselves.
Well, we've done it before. You know, I've seen us win. I'm sure on 2 occasions in the Champions League, we've won our first 2 games and still ended up not qualifying. But I think you're right. It would be us throwing it away. You know, if we get 7 points after Thursday, if we're on 7 points, I think we're in a really, really strong position.
I think the year we beat Leon at home, away 3-0 with the Wallace goal. I think we missed out on that one, didn't we? Right at the end up.
The two I remember, we beat Monaco. I'm sure we won our first 2 games that year. I can't remember who we played in the first. I think it was at Sturm Graz. We beat Sturm Graz in the first game, and we beat Monaco 1-0 away from home. That put us on 6 points. And then the year that you're talking about, Pete, yeah, when we beat Lyon, that was the second game, and we were on 6 points after that, because I'm sure we'd beaten the German team at Ibrox. I can't quite mind who it was now, but we've been here before, you know, winning games early doors and then not getting over the line. But I just feel 7 points after 3 games, and as you say, other teams are cutting each other's throats. I think that would put us in a strong position. It would be a bit of a cave-in if we didn't get through after that, I think. David, moving on to Sunday, a big semi-final against Aberdeen. Obviously, we've said earlier, there's no Morelos or Lafferty. Is this something we should be worried about? I'm
concerned, Colin. Today, again, I hate harping back to it, but creating chances is going to be an issue. Where the goals are going to come from, you're asking midfielders to step up to the plate, and possibly, you know, your Ryan Kents and maybe your Eros Gresdas. I don't know. It's difficult to see.
Big Sadiq.
I honestly can't see Umar Sadiq playing, Colin. I know he was on the bench today, but that was probably a necessity, just in case of injuries and whatnot. But yeah, you never know. I mean, I think Stevie said in his press match conference there a couple of days back that I think it was either Chris Jack or Luke Shanley put the question to him that has Umar been improving, and Stevie said that he had been improving in training, so he may well prove me wrong. But yeah, it could well be an issue, but hopefully I'm going to remain upbeat and positive. I think we'll turn up at Hampden, especially if we get a result on Thursday against Spartak, and I think we'll progress to the final. I think it'll be a tight game, as it normally is against Aberdeen. I just hope that there's no underhand tactics employed by Derek McInnes and his team, and we can rise to the occasion and fire ourselves into the final.
Pete, who do you think Stevie G will start as his main striker?
Well, he's got 3 choices recently. three choices, hasn't he? Sadiq, for me, he can also start with Middleton or Gersnet. That's the three people who I would say will come into contention. Who he'll do it, I don't see it being Sadiq, because I don't see Sadiq ever getting a game for Rangers. I think he'll be put back to, where is it he plays for in Italy? Yeah, I think he'll get Roma. He'll get put back to Roma in January. At the beginning of the season, when Rangers actually sent him out or signed him, I know the players from the NAC, they're the supporters from NAC, they were sort of saying, well, he was great for about 5 games and then he disappeared. So they weren't that really worried about him going. Who will he play? I would like to see Middleton, because I think Middleton's proved he can score goals. And I haven't really seen enough of Gersnet. I question his fitness, because seemingly against Albania, although he played 90 minutes, he looked like he was 2 months off of full fitness. So I would go for Middleton myself, but I don't know what the boss will do, obviously.
You don't think there's a chance he might go with Ryan Kent?
No, I don't see him taking Ryan Kent away from the midfield, and Ryan Kent's running is far too important for Rangers, and I don't think Ryan Kent would be such a great player with a player in his back all the time, the likes of what Morelos does. I don't see Ryan Kent ever being that kind of player, and I think if you're going to go for Kent, and obviously the same as goes for Middleton, you're going to then be looking for through balls that they can run onto with speed. The Rangers will need to put on a different kind of game, really, because there's no way Kent or Middleton are going to take the ball with players in their back. It's going to be a completely different game. So I don't see him taking Kent away from the midfield or the wing midfield, to be honest.
David,
do you not think that's asking a lot of Glenn Middleton, though?
Well, that's what I would sort of think. I actually think Middleton might start on Sunday, but I think he might start in Kent's position out wide, and they'll move Kent one in, because I think Kent's shown recently that he's a no bad finisher.
Aye, I would agree with that. It's a heck of a lot to ask a young lad to, especially it's not like a lot of game time this season, to take the responsibility of playing through the middle against Aberdeen in the Cup semi. But then again, it wouldn't be the first time a young guy had been pitched into a big game at Hampden and came up and done the business. So
I was going to say that. What about big Derek Johnson?
Derek Johnson, he was coming.
You remember him?
Well,
that's it. So you never know. Maybe Glenn's the man to fire us to the final.
I think it's a bit surprising today, though, that he never sort of brought anybody in to try it out. But I suppose it was because the only really action was in the last 10 minutes. So, but when we were at 1-1 with 80 minutes to go, it's not the right time to try different things, obviously.
Well, I mean, that's another issue about CVG. I noticed a few people commenting today, people saying that he's maybe a wee bit slow to make changes at times when things aren't working. And it's maybe something that I would agree with. I think he could have shaked it up a wee bit the day before he did. But I suppose at the end of the day we got the result, and that was the main thing. David, obviously last year we reached the 2 semi-finals. We got the semi-final against Motherwell, and that was a disaster, and the semi-final Scottish Cup against Celtic, and that was an even bigger disaster. That was a shambles. After those defeats, how important is it that Rangers take that next step and make a major final?
It's obviously a paramount importance, Colin. We want to resume the support perceives to be a rightful place in the Scottish game. We've got to be making finals on a regular basis, and this is the first opportunity to do so. Also, obviously, represents the first opportunity for silverware in the season, and that would be a massive step. Obviously, without putting the cart before the horse, where Rangers take on and lift the League Cup, that would represent a massive step in the further normalisation of the club after our European exploits this season. So, yes, it's vitally important, and it's Rangers in a final from a public exposure, certainly in a British sense, even in a European sense, it's vital, and the fans need something to go along and get behind. And I think you mentioned a point at the last pod that we were on about youngsters not get the chance to go to big games and see trophies getting lifted. So it's vital for that perspective as well. So yeah, we've got to turn up and do the business, and we've got to be Rangers, for want of a better expression, and just get it done, get to the final, and hopefully put on 2 performances that can see us lift the League Cup to extend our record in that competition.
And we're playing a Diddy team that can't even sell 10,000 tickets.
Well, there is that. But I think I've got to agree with David. I think out of all the seasons since we've been on the journey, coming back up the road from the sort of lower tiers, there has been more this season that has made it feel like we're getting back to where we should be. Obviously David spoke about the European run, even off the park, stuff like this, the kits. This issue with Sports Direct. I know it's rumbling on a wee bit, but the fact that I was walking down Argyle Street a couple of weeks ago there, walked past JD Sports, and there was a Rangers kit in the shop window, and I have not seen that for a long time. You know what I mean? Or certainly not a kit that people were prepared to buy. So just all these little things are just sort of adding to the feeling that things are getting back to normal. And the next obvious step is to win a trophy. So yeah, I totally agree with everything that David says there. Win next week, get to the final, and give ourselves a real opportunity to put something back in that cabinet again, because it's long overdue. One
thing I've seen from the week, because there was a court case on during the week, and the Rangers lawyer seemed to do very good, but Sport Direct tried to get the judge to vote to rule. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Colin.
No problem. Anytime, Pete.
That's all the kit was sent to JD Sports, our Sports Direct shops, and obviously the Rangers store is allowed to sell them, so his old contract was, and the judge voted against it, so Rangers are allowed to put them out to other options now.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. There is that a sense of it's in some issues like the kit, it's taken longer, but I think this season more than any other, and I think the European run's been a big part of that. There's a feeling that we are a proper big club again, and that all these things that have been holding us back, slowly but surely, one by one, they're getting brushed to the side, and there's a sense of normality around the place again. So it's all good. Right, moving on again, and we're just going to have a wee quick roundup of all the stuff that sort of happened when we were off on our holidays. We were off last week because of the international break, so there was no pod, and it was actually quite a busy week, and off the park especially, there was lots of stuff going on. So I thought we'd run that past the guys and get the sort of views on a few of those things. First things first, guys, quick questions to the two of yous. Obviously, there was a Paul Gascoigne Hall of Fame shambles, for want of a better phrase. He was nominated, then they took it off him because of various incidents in his private life back in the day. Pete, I'll come to you first. What's your views on this?
It was absolutely shocking. The SFA knew Paul Gascoigne's history long before. I mean, it's well documented. You can see it anywhere. And it's obviously that the SFA, they just seem to react to a couple of guys say, well, we're not going to the dinner. No, bloody hell, who the hell cares when you come to dinner? No. But it's absolutely shocking the way a guy that's suffering from mental health issues, they know all the problems he's got, to give him the hope, I've got a nice day out, I'm getting taken into the Scottish Hall of Fame, and then to turn round at the last minute and say, oh, no, sorry, we're not getting it because of all the troubles you've got. And not even the fact that they just came out and said, listen, you've got too much of a history, we're not giving you it. No, it's because your health isn't up to it at this moment. Did they have a line from the doctor that said that Paul Gascoigne's not fit enough to get it just now? It's absolutely shocking, terrible. And the SFA, they're just hopeless, absolutely hopeless. So they are.
David, it did feel a bit shambolic to me, and it felt quite spiteful. I thought, it came over. I just thought the whole thing came over really poor, and the people behind it should really be hanging their heads in shame. And surely the powers that be that, when they were going through the process of deciding who they were going to nominate, they had all that information about Gascoigne. I mean, there's nothing new came out with Paul Gascoigne. They knew all this, and the issues he had, the domestic abuse and all the rest of it. They knew all that. So surely they should have considered that before making their initial announcement.
Definitely. I mean, I must confess it. Neil Cameron's article in the Herald, which I thought was
shocking.
Of course it was. It was nothing short of a hatchet job on him. It was character assassination. And Pete's made mention there. It's a public nomination process, apparently. And it's not the SFA Hall of Fame, which is obviously to do with representing Scotland. But for some reason, the SFA have... it looks as if they've got the power of veto over this. So, I mean, to cite his mental health issues was, and especially in 2 days after, or a day after World Mental Health Day. I mean, it was bad taste. But again, it's pretty standard practice for this part of the world. Everyone seemed to be skirting around about the real issue at hand, which was this is a Rangers player, and he's
English.
He's English, of course. That's very important in this instance, I think. And yeah, his private life from 20 odd years ago was dragged up. I know he's had some transgressions recently. Are we inducting Angels into the Hall of Fame? I mean, there's numerous players with questionable pasts. Hughie Gallagher being one. But not a mention about that. I just thought, I think when you boil it all down, I think you had the nail on the head, Colin. It's just bad taste, and it was embarrassing. Yet another instance of Scottish football embarrassing itself, in the eyes of the public, especially in light of the semi-final Sunday fiasco. I mean, you're just shaking your head in disbelief, and it was shocking. But Gaza, obviously, so the funny side of it, and
yeah.
There's a couple of funnies on his Twitter feed. Which,
well, that was that. He had to shut down his Twitter and all the rest of it for a couple of days. So I think he was getting so much abuse.
Was he?
I think all his sort of channel shut down for a couple of days. I think I think there was just so much happening. But yeah, you're right. He came back and sort of gave them the virtual two fingers, But I agree with pretty much everything you say there, David. It just felt like quite a vindictive and spiteful act. And you've made a good point that there are people already in there with questionable sort of background. So Pete, does the decision not to put Gascoigne in this Hall of Fame, does that now set a precedent that we've got to proactively review people's characters before they get inducted? And do we now have to go back and review people that are already in there and say, well, actually, you don't match the criteria, so we're going to take you out now? Because it seems to me that Paul Gascoigne was getting held to a criteria that no one else was.
No, I think that's definitely true. But I think the biggest thing for me is there just seems to be a move to stop anything Rangers at the moment. If you take this, the Gascoigne incident, if you take the move for the Dornan made to stop the Rangers hiring that pitch for a fan zone, everything, and I think it's just all been set up by groups that think, oh well, we can stop Rangers. And I mean, there was even just taking it really stupid, the girl that went into Big Brother. There was within hours they had found a tweet that was in 2010 or something like that, and she get thrown out the programme. So there just seems to be anything that Rangers get advantage from or come into the light from, then they just seem to build up a group that's going to try and scuttle it. And that's just my meaning. That's the way I feel. And it's absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Yeah, I can't disagree, Pete. There does seem to be a feeling of there are organisations out there proactively sort of, I don't want to use the word agenda and conspiracies and all these things, but we're going to have a wee talk about the BBC later in the show as well. They've shown again that if they can, stick the boot in, they will. And so yeah, I agree. I'm seeing a lot more of it than I used to, and this was another example, and how it was handled was absolutely shocking. David, obviously we've spoke already about the semi-final on Sunday. Now there was a wee bit of a stooshy, I think is maybe the best phrase to put it, over the tickets. Aberdeen kicked up a stink when, the semi-final, when the draw happened. They said they wanted 50-50. They demanded about 21,000 tickets. They've sold 9,000 and they've had to hand back 5,000. Have Aberdeen, I saw some Aberdeen fans celebrating this, which is bizarre. Have Aberdeen and their supporters just sort of proved that they're as Pete said, a Diddy club?
Well, they've proved that they certainly can't sell an allocation. I know that there was obviously some disquiet amongst the corridors of power at the SPFL with regards to how Aberdeen were selling their tickets, in terms of they couldn't, were selling blocks of tickets for, the best vantage points within the North Stand and then parts of the East Stand. So, yeah, for them to demand a 50-50 split and then not even sell, or struggle to sell 10,000 briefs, just shows you that the fans themselves don't have confidence in their team to turn up at Hampden and beat Rangers. Otherwise, they would have been snapped up. Now, Aberdeen fans being like they are, they may well say, they'll put a spin in it and say, it's a protest about the late kick-off time on a Sunday, and we've got issues with travelling and getting back late up the road and all that kind of stuff. But that doesn't really wash. I mean, Chris Boyd, he made a point of saying that the Rangers, when they play Aberdeen at Pittodrie, more often than not, I've got to make lunchtime kick-offs in Aberdeen, and we don't seem to complain about it. And you've got Rangers supporters travelling to the four corners of the United Kingdom. So, when you boil it down, Aberdeen can sell 10,000 briefs for a cup semi? It says it all, doesn't it?
It does, really, aye. And the fact, Derek McInnes came out last week and stated, that he was comfortable with the amount of tickets that, Aberdeen had sold, and said that even in Alex Ferguson day, when Aberdeen were winning leagues and cups and all the rest of it, and the European Cup Winners' Cup, when they were a bit of a force, he said even then Aberdeen would only take around 10,000 to Glasgow. So Pete, if that's the case, why did they demand 20,000 tickets?
Yeah, they just want to be a pain in the backside about it. That's the biggest thing, and it's just a way of getting Rangers or sticking two fingers up at the SFA, which is, I think, as well, and at Rangers, and we want half the field, and they even sold half the ground. Sorry, they even sold the tickets next to the Rangers supporters that, if they didn't sell tickets, that the SFA were going to give Rangers that section of the stand. So they've just been trying to upset everybody, and that's just the way Aberdeen is. If you can't be a big club in the field, then be a big club by getting up everybody's nose.
Well, I believe that the fans that have bought tickets for that part of the ground are now being told that they're being reallocated. To me, all of this could have been avoided. It just seemed, an absurd sort of nonsense argument. You know what I mean? I don't think Aberdeen were ever confident they were going to sell 20,000 tickets.
Listen, Colin, we're talking about supporters that sing about somebody breaking somebody else's leg in the Durant case.
Yeah.
We'll know Missy supporters. We'll know miss them.
No.
But they're costing clubs money as well, guys. I mean, the fact that they couldn't sell their allocation was going to cost not only themselves money, but Rangers, Hearts and Celtic money. And that's why the league they stepped in. And I've recited the tickets that they've already sold, so that they can, for segregation purposes, sell additional tickets to Rangers. But you look at that, even when you boil it all down, there's Rangers fans are going to subsidise other clubs yet again, and it's the whole thing. It's yet another instance of the amateurish nature of Scottish football, I'm afraid.
Hating ourselves to death, as the kids say.
Yeah, that phrase gets used a lot now. I see it quite a lot on social media, and you have to kind of agree with it. I think the Gascoigne incident's another one that shows it. It's just really, really poor. Hey guys, there was another wee incident when we were on our holidays, and that was again related to the semi-final against Aberdeen. About the tickets to shit, they published a photograph of Aberdeen fans on their social media. I think it was on Twitter, and it showed a photo of the severed head of Ryan Jack. They've since removed the photo and apologised. David, BBC up to their usual tricks, or do you think this was a genuine mistake?
Up to their usual tricks, Colin. Let's call it what it is. When Gary Holt mentioned about Livingston's pitch on the BBC's website, it was Rangers players that were doing their pre-match walk onto the surface. Those things don't happen by accident. That's a directed and concerted campaign, and that's not even paranoid. It's happened too. Honest mistakes happen. But it seems to be a litany of honest mistakes by BBC, Pacific Key, and quite frankly, it's beyond a joke now. And for that photograph with the banner by Graham Shinney holding Ryan Jack's severed head was disgusting. And the BBC, given that it's funded by the taxpayer, should hang their heads in shame. And it's just yet another instance of their biased agenda against Rangers Football Club.
Pete, would you echo that, or do you think it was a genuine mistake?
No, the way I think, if you take it, how many million photos the BBC will have of Aberdeen supporters over the years, and you could have even had them lifting cups or whatever from years ago, and they pick out the one where Shenny's got Jack's head in it. No, well, I think it's quite obvious. I think that's it's just part of the BBC. Remember the Thompson cunt. Sorry for swearing, but that's the way it was. The photo, and when you move the mouse, that saying come up. It's just been the BBC have just had so much things. The Ali McCoy's falling out the window.
Yeah.
It's just. Obviously, it's just a setup to bring down Rangers or to do things to hurt Rangers.
I mean, we had a sort of special pod about it a few weeks back there, and I mean, I think it had already reached a point of, I think it's embarrassing actually for the BBC how they're conducting themselves. But I mean, I think the incident in hand that we're talking about, that's just another example of where they are, and I don't see any end to it soon either, to be honest. I think it's going to continue apace. So I know there was a sort of feeling in some of the topics, some of the conversations we had during that pod that, maybe Steven Gerrard would provide leverage because the BBC would want back in. So far I don't see any evidence of that. I think things will continue as they are.
Well, I believe McLaughlin's been even put in a higher position now, so it might even get worse.
Yeah, he's away from the sports stuff. So, I just don't see it improving anytime soon.
It's editorial control, Colin. When you boil it all down, you can get subordinates making mistakes, but either there's gross incompetence in Pacific Key, which I doubt. There'll be an element of incompetence like you get in every organisation, of course, but it's part of a concerted campaign, and there's a distinct lack of editorial control. I mean, you can go back years. That's before, certainly before the administration. There was instances where Rangers have been maligned by BBC employees, which I'll not name, but you don't need to be a genius to work out who they are. But it's embarrassing, and there doesn't seem to be any end in sight. There's guys that monitor the BBC's output with regards to Rangers, and it doesn't matter if it's in the radio, if it's online, or if it's in television. We're slated on a regular basis, and unless someone in senior management and BBC Network down in London step in, then it looks as if it's just going to continue.
Right, just one final item before we finish up for today, and that's obviously the save quote of the week. Pete, I believe you've got one.
Yeah, it's also from the Kerrydale Meltdown site, and I thought it was really funny. is that what someone on the site said, Barham Kyle, on his day, is a better player than Gascoigne ever was. and that really got me.
I can't even, you want to know something, Pete? I can't remind you this. Barham Kyle is. So maybe he was a bit of... I
must admit, I had to go into Wikipedia to find out who it was.
Google, I'm like, who's this boy again? Aye. I've got one as well, actually. You're probably aware that Celtic Hearts appointed Barry Ferguson last week. So when they've announced that on Twitter, breaking news, Celtic Hearts have officially announced their new first team manager as Barry Ferguson. This guy's came back. His name's Connor at C99L. He's like, despicable that you're appointing a man who's an EBT recipient of upwards of 2 million. 2 words, won't be back. Quite enjoyed that one.
Counting was never the strong point.
This is a guy who is apparently an expert on a sophisticated tax avoidance scheme, but can't count to 3. But there you go. That's just him summed up, really, isn't it? Right, before we go tonight, Pete, I think you've got something you want to say.
Yeah, I just want to mention a guy that's got a website on Rangers Youth. It's El Fidelo. He's been doing it for 10 years. And if you want to know anything about the Rangers Youth system, the academy, then his blog is really worth tuning into. You'll get it in any of the main Rangers websites, follow, or here on the Gersnet, of course. And it's really worth following the guy because there's not a lot he doesn't know about the Rangers youth system. I just want to say that, and many happy returns with your 10th birthday.
Right, guys, thanks for joining us. That's all for this week's edition of the Gersnet Weekly Podcast. Big thanks to Pete and to David for joining us, especially David, who sort of came in at the very last second there. Big thanks to our audio engineer, Graham, who's listening in, I know, and always makes everything sound wonderful. Don't have any news about next week's show, but obviously it's a big week coming up at Rangers this week. We've got the game against Spartak on Thursday and then the semi-final against Aberdeen on Sunday. So there'll be plenty to talk about next week. We'll have an update then. Please, if you've listened to the podcast and you've enjoyed it, then please get out there on the social media and let everybody know. Subscribe to the podcast. Do what you can to get the message out there. Let people know that we're here. In the meantime, get yourself onto the Gersnet website and forums at www.gersnet.co.uk. Lots of stuff on there, previews, match reviews, opinion columns, and the forums. Well, it's just a load of Rangers supporters talking to one another, so what more do you want, people? So that's it for this week. Until the next time, I'll see you again.